Hey guys, it's Kate here from Kate's Backyard Garden, and I figured I'd just show you guys around and show you what's growing and what's happening and what's going on in the garden. So I always come into the garden with a few things. Twine, anything really to tie up things. Oh, by the way, I got my hair cut. Finally, thank you, Kirsten, for an awesome cut. So much better, right, than that crazy hair you saw in my first video? Yeah, I agree. So I always bring something to tie up plants. So here's my little basket. And I always have something to tie it up, something to cut, and then a basket for harvesting whatever I find in the garden. So one of the first things I'm gonna do is I found this awesome the other day, and I want to, look how big that got in just a day. So the next couple of days it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, so I want to go ahead and secure that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now what I use for securing, this should be a better piece, the other one would be, yeah, see, this is just, you want it to be stretchy so it can stretch with your melon. I'm just going to go ahead and tie off this bottom part here. And I'm going to find my cantaloupe. And I'm going to go ahead and tie it off to the trellis. So also having something that's a little bit bigger than what you need is also good, so that you have the ability to tie it off. And there you go. Now you can see first cantaloupe that is tied off now. So that's number one. So then I'll just always look through and see if there's anything else that needs to be tied up or tied off. And actually, that's pretty cool. So this guy, man, bees really love cantaloupe flowers. So I'll probably I might give this guy some support, or maybe just push him back in. And then I'm gonna help this guy go up a little taller. So I'm gonna pause the video and tie that guy up. So when tying something up, you just wanna make sure that you give it enough growing room. See, like this is, it's really just kind of I just made a sling to let the cantaloupe grow up. And really the only reason I did that is because there's these two vines here, which are gonna grow up that part, and I didn't want it to overcrowd that part of the trellis. Probably could do, oh yeah, I see this guy here. See him here? So I'm gonna do the same thing with him. And what I'm gonna do is bring him back up to this part of the trellis. And then you can see, then they're actually pretty close to the top of the arch, which is pretty cool. So I'll go ahead and tie him off. Okay, so I also tied this guy off here. Now he's kind of hanging down here, but he's gonna come back up. Plants will always turn up towards the sun. So he'll continue climbing up there, and then look how tall this one is. So that's pretty cool that we get more cantaloupe. See? Thank you, Mr. B. Hopefully I can get some more cantaloupe. So that is my cantaloupe. Checking out my watermelon. There's not really much else to do, but check this out. I have somebody who is getting into my garden and eating all of my lettuce. Look, just coming right in and eating all of my lettuce. Now this will grow back, but I do have, see over here too. So I do have some more lettuce, and I might just go ahead and plant some more. But first I have to figure out where this little critter is coming in from. We did recently move a fence piece back, and I think we let somebody in that wasn't in the garden before. There's always something going on in the garden, right? All right, off to, so the other thing that I noticed when I was coming in here, which I have to fix, is this. So I've been vertically staking some of my squash plants to try to save space and grow more in less space, which is something that I like to do. Ah, breeze is coming through. That feels good. Again, I don't have a huge garden, so I like to try to maximize the space when I can. And I would definitely recommend it, but you do have to stay on top of it, because this is what happens if you don't stay on top of making sure you are continuing to tie them up as they grow. So this is a patty pan squash, which I have to harvest this guy. I mean, he's just huge. Look at that. And I'll come in and harvest him now. So I'll show you how I do that. Just simply snip it. Should have been there to catch it, but that's okay. So look at that. Check that out. That's beautiful. Maybe even a little bit big, but that's okay. But see, this happens. So you can see the stems starting to split because that patty pan got so big and I did not do a good job of keeping it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and tie this up in the hopes that I can save the plant. But we'll see what happens. Okay, so I went ahead and tied him up in 2 more places, here and here. When you're trying up, try not to do that. Just be very careful of the flowers. And he'll turn, all the leaves will turn back up again. So, you know, try to stay on top of it if you can. So that's, I'm gonna have to also, I'll show you, actually I can bring you to the other side of the garden real quick, only because I have another example of growing, I would say more successfully, patty pan squash vertically. So, whoa, look at this. Check these out. These grow so fast, squash. So I'm gonna go ahead. These are white patty pan, so I'm not 100% sure when I'm supposed to. So if somebody's grown white patty pan before, let me know when I'm supposed to harvest these. I might harvest this guy. This also happens sometimes with, with squash. So anyway, this is a better example of me doing a little bit better job of making sure that they're supported, but you can see the weight of the patty pan is really pulling it down. So I'll go ahead and put another support right here to really make sure that it stays up. But see, at least I had that support up there, so it's not breaking the stem. And you can see that I'm about 5 feet tall and this is almost as tall as me. So this is a really great way to maximize your space, is to grow squash vertically. So I went ahead and harvested that other patty pan just to give it a little bit more or less weight to bear, and I'll let this one grow a little bit more. But you can just see there just continues to be more and more flowers on the top of this thing. And I tied it up. I gave it some more support right here. And the way that I am trellising this or vertically supporting it is with 3 bamboo stakes. So I just took 3 bamboo stakes and made a little teepee, tied them together at the top and stuck it in, and I've just been tying it up to it as it's grown. Again, you have to make sure you really stay on top of it as the squash gets bigger, so that what happened to the other plant doesn't happen. But that's a cool example of vertically trellising squash plants. So this one over here, actually, we had that happen. My husband supported it with something, and it's too short, just this little guy here, and it broke off in a storm. But it's still continuing to grow. We'll see if anything actually happens with it. It's kind of an experiment to see if squash can regrow once that main stem kind of snaps off. So keep you guys posted on that one. So 2 patty pan harvested so far. Here's my lettuce that I hopefully replaced. See, this is the funny thing. This lettuce has been sitting out here just like this, hardening off, and nothing's eaten it. So something is just coming directly into my garden, it seems, and eating my lettuce. So definitely have to figure that out. Okay, so while I'm over here, I wanted to show you guys that mystery plant that I don't know what it is, that I've been asking you guys for opinions on. So I'm thinking it might be some type of maybe winter squash. It definitely also looks like a hybrid. Somebody said it might be a hybrid between a summer squash and a winter squash. I'm kind of thinking that that's what it is. So I'll show you guys, and you can let me know what you think. So here it is. Again, this one hasn't gotten much bigger. I might also support this, but it seems, again, not really to be getting too much bigger. But there's another one here, and it also has a bit of yellow on it, which is interesting. And then we have another one here. And I think I saw maybe another one. No, but look at how long this plant is, which is really cool, because I was hoping to just let it go along the fence here behind the girls' swing set, and it has, and it's reached the end of the second panel now, and I'm just gonna let it go into this whole garden here and keep growing. So that's kind of cool. I have 3 sets of fruit on it already. So again, maybe it is that combo summer squash, winter squash. Keep you guys posted, but if anybody has any ideas, again, let me know. Actually, in my cucumber video, I talked about how your cucumbers will tell you when they need a drink. So since it's been really hot, and we did have a little bit of rain come through, and I was hoping that I wouldn't have to water the cucumbers. I do have drip irrigation, but that waters the whole garden. And I do have on-off switches where I can just water parts of the garden if I want to. But I'm just watching these peas on these cantaloupes. It's just amazing. Honestly, even if I don't get a whole lot of cantaloupes out of these plants, I don't know if you guys can just see them all buzzing around. They bring in so many pollinators that I honestly don't even care that much. I mean, every time I'm out here, you see bees in the flowers. Just, woo, that one got a little close. It's constantly, so anyway, squirrel. Bees just love the cantaloupe. So again, even if I don't get much cantaloupes out of it, even if I just get that one, I would probably grow them again. One, it looks really up the trellis. Maybe it's because the leaves on the cantaloupes are smaller, so and they're just loaded with flowers, that it's easier for the bees to find them. Anyway, back to cucumbers. So you can see that they're starting to wilt. And like I said, I was hoping that the rain would give us more rain, and it didn't. And that kind of keeps happening where it says it's gonna rain and then only rains for a little bit. So I'm actually gonna pause the video and I'm just gonna hand water these. And I'm gonna show you that by, just how quickly they're gonna come back to life. This is one of the issues with growing cucumbers in containers, is you really have to stay on top of watering them. So I'm gonna go grab some water. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that I give all of these a really good drink. And then they're gonna bounce back, but I know cucumbers also don't love the heat. So we'll see how much longer I'm getting cucumbers off of them. For right now, I mean, it's been 90 now consistently for a couple of days. So some of the cucumbers are starting to look a little wonky. And I'm still getting cucumbers off of them, but not as many cucumbers as I normally would be getting. So we'll see how much longer these plants have in them. If I see that they're still really continuing to struggle, I'll probably start some more beans, maybe. Could even maybe do another round of cucumbers. I'd have to check the variety to see how quick growing they are. But I might, or maybe I'll just keep this bed for some of my other fall plants. So I'm giving each of them a really good drink. Again, since I only have 12 inches of soil here, I want to make sure, I don't think there's another guy over there, that I give them a really good drink. I'll probably give them another, this holds 3 gallons, this watering jug. I might give them another one of those in a little bit, but hopefully those perk up. It's been about 20 minutes and the cucumbers are back to normal. See how quick that happens? They just perk right back up again and they're back to their beautiful selves. So listen to your plants. Zucchini, so these huge, this is just one plant here. And again, these just big, huge leaves. So what I've been having recently with the zucchini, so here's one that I will most likely harvest coming up pretty soon, maybe this afternoon. I'll see how big it's getting, but I'm having some issues with leaf mold, see. So squash this time of year really just start to get a whole bunch of issues, really a lot of things start to get issues this time of year, it seems like. Knock on wood, I've been really lucky with my tomatoes so far. I haven't really had any fungal issues. I think that's because it's been pretty dry, which is one good thing about not having a lot of rain. So I've seen some squash bugs. I'll see if while I'm walking through if I see any squash bugs and what you can do for those. But they're just also just have that leaf mold on them. So I've just been pulling those leaves off as I see them. And I mean, there's just so many healthy leaves. So I've just been trying to stay on top of it and hoping to extend my season. Honestly, I've had such little luck with squash any other year that I normally would have lost the plants completely by now to vine borers. And I've been very lucky, again, knock on wood, that I haven't had that issue with squash. So I've gotten so many zucchini off of them that I'm happy even if I lose the plants, but they still look really healthy, like I said. So I'm gonna try to stay on top of them, pull off the leaves that are diseased, and you can spray a hydrogen peroxide spray on them, which is supposed to help. So I'm gonna try that. If I do that, I'll let you know how it goes. And then for the squash bugs, pinch them off, look under the leaves to see if you see any squash bug eggs and squash those also. And there also is like a peppermint spray that you can do that's supposed to help after you pull off the leaves, because once you pull off the leaves from any plant, it emits a smell that attracts actually those predators. So it's always good to do that if you can. So I'll show you my squash and the issues I'm having with them, and we'll see. So there's also some yellowing leaves down here, so I haven't really stayed on top of it. Here's an example of a really diseased set of leaves, so I'll go ahead and pull them off. But there's still some good looking squash in there. I have seen a squash bug climbing on this plant. So what you want to do is check underneath the leaves to see if you can find any eggs. I don't see any right now, which is good. They hide underneath the leaves of the plants. So I don't see any. So that's a good thing. And then this guy, he's just, I don't know, anybody know what's happening with this squash? Too much of some type of fertilizer. This is my yellow squash plant, and it's not long for the world. So this is one of the plants that I might just end up pulling. I haven't gotten any squash off of it in at least 2 weeks. So I might just, once some of the stuff that's on the grow cart is doing better, I might just go ahead and pull it. If anybody knows what this yellowing is, let me know. I've done nothing different than the other plants that are really healthy behind me, so I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm just gonna show you my beans real quick because I really love this bean trellis. So these are yard-long beans. Can you see them? Look how pretty they are all hanging. So this is where I'll end the video because this has been a long video, but I really love green beans. It's one of my favorite vegetables in the garden. And this arch is fantastic because it's so beautiful. And you can I sit up on my deck or I sit in my backyard and I just see these awesome beans hanging down from it, and it's so whimsical and so cute. But in addition to that, which actually this one's probably ready to be picked, is that I'll show you. So this is the size of, right there, yard-long beans. So they're about a yard long. Probably not quite a yard long, but what's that, 18 inches or so? And if you've grown green beans before, you know this is the size of about 4 regular green beans. And the plants don't take up more space. They don't take up 3 or 4 times the space that a regular green bean plant would. So you're getting 4 times the amount of green beans in one. And I mean, I'll snap it for you now. Look, you hear that? You hear that? They snap so easy. They're so easy to prepare. So look, that's the size of one, and look how much more I have. That's just one. And then look at all these beans. I mean, I have more beans than I could even imagine. And that's one thing that I was disappointed about when I started growing regular green beans, just regular pole beans, is that I could never grow enough plants to actually get enough green beans for like a meal when I was harvesting, right? Because you harvest and you want to get enough in one harvest for a meal. And I was always struggling to do that with regular green beans, but not with yard-long beans. And they are delicious and they are crisp and they're just fantastic. So if you were to grow one variety of green beans, if you only have space for one variety of green beans, this right now, as of today, yard-long beans, asparagus beans, Asian green beans, all are called same thing, different names. And I would absolutely recommend it. And if you have space for a beautiful arch trellis like this, I would also definitely recommend it. First time using an arch and first time growing yard long, but I've tried other beans in the past and so far they're my favorite. So that's what I would recommend. So that's my little garden tour. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or if you know what my mystery plant is, or if you have suggestions on what I can do to help that dying squash plant over there, please let me know. I'm always happy to learn. And until next time, stay dirty and keep learning. Bye.